So we went up 3 days before the season, August 27th, 2020, set up camp and do a little scouting. We set up in the evening and started looking at some elk and came across this guy. Looked like what we thought was probably about an 8-point, and big antlers, really big body. We watched him next to some other bulls, and his body was quite a bit bigger. So we just watched him the rest of the evening along with some other bulls, and really admired this bull and hoped that we would come across him again when the season opened in 3 days. So even though it was early in the season, towards the end of August, there was a lot of bugling that evening. So we got to enjoy a lot of elk activity and a lot of bugling. So the more we looked over this bull, the more we all fell in love with him. And we just all hoped that one of us would see him once the season opened. So now this is the evening before opening day, and we're watching a lot of elk and a lot of bulls, and we just weren't sure if we'd see that big one again. So we just enjoyed the evening and just watched all the elk activity. As you could imagine, we were all pretty excited for opening day, and probably didn't get a lot of sleep that night. But opening day came, and opening morning we didn't get into a lot of action, didn't have a lot going on that day. We did come across a mountain lion and her baby, and they were on a cow and a calf that they killed. So that was pretty exciting for opening day. So we just moved forward and looked forward to day 2. So the next day, which was August 31st, we saw some bulls bugling and being pretty active down below us. So I saw a pretty big 5-point that I liked, and he was headed up towards the saddle. And I thought, if I could get down into the saddle, into the thick trees, I might be able to intercept him. And we were up higher in the sagebrush, so I just took off running down through the sagebrush a couple hundred yards and stopped where the timber was and stopped right next to a tree. As soon as I stopped, I heard a bugle, in my ear right off to my left, and looked around the tree, and this bull was standing there less than 20 yards away. So I stepped back, drew my bow back, and peeked around again, and his vitals were between 2 trees, so I had a perfect shot, less than 20 yards. And he spun around, and I could tell he was one of the big ones that we'd seen. I just wasn't sure which one, but it was pretty exciting to come up on him, and we saw that he was that 8-point that we'd filmed 3 days earlier. So right after I shot him, I cow called, and he stopped and slowly made his way down the hill about 50 yards. and stopped. And I signaled to Greg and Hunter to come on down, and they came down, and we stood there for a little bit and watched him go down and die right there, about 50 yards from where I shot him. It was a perfect shot right through both lungs, and found the arrow it passed through, and he went down pretty quickly. Big bull, one of the biggest bodied bulls that any of us had ever been on, so that was pretty exciting as well. It's pretty amazing. I'd heard a bugle from where this bull was at earlier, and down on the other side was that 5 Point some others, and they were all bugling and getting pretty worked up. And so, I'm running through the sagebrush making a lot of noise, and come down there, and he must have thought I was another bull coming to challenge him, and he met me just a few yards away, and that's all it took. I just can't thank these guys enough. Greg and Hunter, we had a lot of fun times and fun hunts together, and this was a great one and a great memory.